Guys, this is Shannon with Nearly Organic Noshing, and it is Monday the 14th, and I am on my lunch break right now, and I am pulling this big thing of beef out. Let me see how much it weighs. Okay, this is 5 pounds of beef, so I'm going to take this and turn it into 3 different meals. I may be able to make it stretch a little further than that, but I think I'm probably just going to do 3 because my first meal is going to be meatloaf, and I want to be able to make Chris some meatloaf sandwiches with it. So I'll probably do a decent sized meatloaf. If I wasn't going to do that, I know I could turn it into 4 meals or even more. But if you guys want to follow along to see how I'm going to take this 1 5-pound thing of meat and defrost it and turn it into multiple meals. Hey guys, it is Monday night. It's a little after 6. I just got in from work, took care of the animals, and now I'm getting ready to start dinner. And like I said, I am going to turn that 1 chub of ground beef into multiple meals. I like to do this with chicken and pork chops, anything that I have in a large quantity that I can take and defrost 1 big amount and then turn it into meal after meal after meal and use many of the same ingredients. So I just have to cook things one time, like potatoes, and then use them in multiple ways. So I can just sit down and peel all the potatoes at one time and then use them. So tonight is going to be meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and I'm going to do an English pea salad. I was going to do that later in the week, but the guys love English pea salad, and I have some eggs already boiled in the refrigerator. I will link the video on how to make a meatloaf from a packet up in the corner along with mashed potatoes. I was doing a video series for the kids or the inexperienced cooks out there that do not really know how to cook from scratch, and they need help with not necessarily boxed ingredients, but like seasoning and things like that. So I did a video on how to just buy one of the McCormick's meatloaf seasonings and how to do that. But tonight I'm just going to cook the way I usually do, and I'll just show you how I kind of throw things together. And I'll also show how to cook English pea salad. And the English pea salad will be on my Cooking 101. Maybe it's a southern thing, I'm not sure, but I grew up eating English pea salad ever since I was a kid, and my whole family loves it. The kids absolutely love it. They can't get enough of it. So I'm going to make that along with dinner tonight, and I'll show you how to do it also. All right, let me show you the ingredients I have. Okay guys, here are the ingredients for what I'm going to make. So in my meatloaf, I have a little bit of tomato paste left over from making some pizza sauce last week, and it's been in the fridge, so I want to go ahead and use that up. I'm just going to use garlic, onion, I'm going to throw some paprika in there, some Italian seasoning, some Worcestershire sauce, salt, and pepper. And I need to grab an egg and maybe a smidge of breadcrumbs, but I may not add any breadcrumbs to this because I'd like to keep it lower carb so I can eat it. We're just going to see, most likely no breadcrumbs. You don't have to put that in there. I might put a little bit of oatmeal. I'm just going to see what the consistency looks like once I get it all together. For the English pea salad, it could not be more simple. You need English peas, sweet peas. I prefer frozen. I just think it tastes better. Some people use canned, but I think the fresh look better, taste better, and just really kind of pop in your mouth. And these, I'm just going to rinse them in a colander until they're not frozen, because these I just pulled from the freezer, but they defrost super fast, but you want them cold. The salad is really good when it's cold, and then all you need is mayo and salt and pepper. And hard-boiled eggs, which I have the salt and pepper here, and I have some hard-boiled eggs that I pulled out of the fridge. And how many eggs you put in there is really up to you. And then the mashed potatoes, we are keeping it simple because I'm going to use these mashed potatoes in more than one dish. So I'm not going to make them ranch or any sort of seasoning like that. No garlic mashed potatoes. So these are just going to be plain. So I'm going to peel these, get them boiling, and then I'm just going to use butter, sour cream, and I'm going to use some half and half because this is getting ready to expire. And I have another great big thing of half and half in the house fridge and in the office. So I'm just going to use a little bit of half and half in them just to go ahead and use up this thing a half and half. So first I'm going to get the potatoes peeled and boiling because they are going to take a while. And then I will get the meatloaf mixed and I'll show you how I do that. Okay guys, I am going to start on the meatloaf. This is 1/3 of that roll. I just kind of eyeballed it and cut 1/3 of it off. So now I'm just going to start putting my ingredients together. And yes, I'm wearing one glove. Raw meat makes me itch and break out horribly. So a lot of times you'll see me with gloves on in the kitchen if I'm going to be touching raw meat for an extended period of time. So I don't measure. I just kind of dump ingredients. And that is why I did the other video with the packet, so that it would just be easier for an inexperienced cook. So I'm just going to go start dumping stuff in. I'm going to start with some granulated garlic here. You know, and I know I'm not the only one that cooks like this. I was watching an American Homestead the other day, and Jamie, I don't remember exactly what it was, she was cooking. This is onion powder. But she was talking about how nobody really knows how to cook anymore. And I have been saying that for so long, which is why I started the video series, Paprika, on cooking for kids or cooking for new cooks. This is just some of my homemade Italian seasoning, just to give it a little bit more flavor. Pepper. Because everyone either cooks out of a box, essentially. They buy something frozen, or they buy a box of Hamburger Helper. And if you're just learning to cook, Hamburger Helper is fine, but you need to get past that eventually. And just some salt. Next I'm going to throw in some Worcestershire. I think this is a new container, so nobody knows how to cook from scratch anymore. You could not give a college student all the ingredients to make bread, and they could not actually make a loaf of bread. You know, they couldn't wing it. They couldn't wing a meatloaf. No one knows how to cook from scratch anymore, and no one knows how to just throw ingredients in. So I have that in so far. I'm going to add 2 eggs. Oh, that was a really thin shell. I do believe my chickens, they just started laying again, so I'm going to have to, well, this one's hard. I'm going to check their oyster shells. And then this is the leftover tomato sauce, or tomato paste. A lot of times people put this on top and they do a glaze on top, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to mix it in. But I like cooking this way. I don't want to have to use a recipe to cook. I don't want to be contained by a recipe. I am what I call the queen of substitutions because I'm forever switching things around because I may not necessarily have something. Just because you don't have something in your pantry or in your fridge or in your freezer doesn't mean you can't make it. The other night I was making fathead pizza dough. Didn't realize my son had used up the last of the cream cheese. So I substituted. You know, I looked in the fridge, what do I have? I put a little mascarpone in there, and what did I put? Greek yogurt, I think. So, and it turned out just fine. You know, you just eyeballed it and see what works for you. So, I might put just a sprinkle of breadcrumbs in here after I get it mixed up. But let me go ahead and mix it, and then we'll see where we're at. Okay, you can see this is not very liquidy at all. It's really sticking together. I'm going to put just barely a sprinkle in here just because I want to be able to slice this and make meatloaf sandwiches for Chris. And I just have some panko in the cabinet. That might have been a tablespoon. And I'm just going to mix this up. Okay, there it is. And you can see how thin this is. You can make it and form it into a loaf or put it in a loaf pan and cook. I like doing it like this just because it cooks much faster. And this will be ready in 20-25 minutes at 350, and it'll be ready when everything else is done. My potatoes are boiling. I don't know if you can, let's see what direction. See that over there? And they are probably 10 minutes maybe from being done. So I'll pop this in the oven, let that keep cooking while I make my English pea salad. And by the time this is done, the rest of my meal will be ready to go. Okay guys, I just finished making my English pea salad. I will link it in the corner if you want to see how it's made. Alright, I'm getting ready to go ahead and get the mashed potatoes out and get them going. Okay guys, so I have my potatoes here. They have been drained. I'm using this potato masher because I'm doing these right in the pot, and that will not cut up my pot like a metal one. So I'm just going to take a couple of chunks of butter. I had that big roll of the Amish butter. I get that from Publix when it's on sale. And I'm just going to put a few chunks in here. That probably equals about half a stick of butter right there. Then I'm just going to add 2 big spoons of sour cream in. And some of this half and half. Just a good splash of that. I'm going to take this and start working my way around. Until I have it all completely smooth. And then once that happens, then I'll add my seasoning. Okay guys, so I have mixed these really well. I don't usually use a blender or beaters when I do it. I just do it by hand because Chris does not like it when it is overly smooth. He likes like you still have the chunks in there that you can see a little bit. Now he doesn't want whole big chunks of potato, but he does like texture. And I was just going to do plain, but I'm going to season them up a little bit more because I'm making shepherd's pie later in the week, and seasoned mashed potatoes on shepherd's pie will be awesome. So I'm going to take salt and liberally dose it with salt, pepper, and I already had the onion and garlic out from doing the meatloaf. So give it a nice dose of onion powder and some granulated garlic. The guys love garlic mashed potatoes. They also love ranch. Troublin really loves ranch. But she is away at college, so not doing ranch. She would not eat potatoes for so many years when she was a kid. I used to try and sneak potatoes in on her, and I finally got her to eat potatoes when I made a restuffed potato soup with bacon. Looking back now, I probably should have just kept her not liking potatoes because they're really not that great for you. So alright guys, so that is what they look like. I'm going to go ahead and put them in a bowl so I can pop them in the oven to stay warm until the rest of the dinner is done. Okay guys, this is the meatloaf fresh out of the oven. I'm going to get it sliced up and show you what it looks like plated. Guys, so this is dinner plated up. This is some homemade vanilla bean applesauce that I just pulled out of the pantry that I canned, along with Chris's mashed potatoes, meatloaf, and English. Hey guys, I am on my lunch break and I got busy and my mom called, my daughter called, Chris called, and I just was mixing away and not even thinking about using my camera, but I'm working on making broccoli slaw for dinner tonight. I am doing patty melts with caramelized onions and mushrooms with cheese. and this is going to be our side dish, and I may make some corn for the guys. That's something that'll go perfectly fine with patty melts or maybe some sweet potato fries. I'm not sure, but needs to sit in the fridge and kind of marinate together, the flavors together. It just tastes better if it sits for a little while. So I wanted to make sure I got this done on my lunch. The only real carbiness is I put, I don't know, a tablespoon each of raisins and cranberries in here. The guys really like that. Sometimes I'll cut up an apple and give it a little bit of crunch, but I have mayo, I have white wine vinegar, I have salt, and then a sprinkle of monk's fruit in there, to kind of a little bit of sweet to go with the salt, and it makes it taste really good. So this is all mixed up, and I'm going to cover it, toss it in the fridge, and let it sit until dinner. Okay, guys, it is about 6:30, and I just got in from work. Chris was working a little later tonight. Jaden is working till like 11 o'clock tonight. He has a late night, so I worked late in the office to try and get a few things wrapped up. We are just swamped at work right now. So I am going to be making some patty melts tonight. I'm just going to do enough for us tonight. I'm not going to go make a bunch of them. So again, I'll take a third to probably about here and make up a few patty melts, and then the rest of it will be for tomorrow night's dinner. And I am going to cut up some mushrooms and some onions. I'm going to cook everything in with some bacon grease to give it some really good flavor. Chris requested I put some bacon and cheese on top of them, so I will probably do that and maybe an egg. So I might do an egg over the top of all of it. I already have the broccoli slaw made, and then I don't know, I think I'm probably going to get some veggie of some sort, at least for the guys, maybe corn if I do that. I'm not sure. I'm going to go take a look and see what I really want to do tonight. And then he surprised me with something else and just came in, and I know he threw it in this freezer. It doesn't belong in this freezer, but that's okay. Some of our customers sent us a couple packages of Deer Burger and a thing of summer sausage, which we have gotten deer from this family before, and also pork sausage. They raise their own hogs and take them to a special place to get them butchered, and it's really, really good. Like, I have been impressed with everything they've ever sent us. So I'm looking forward to adding that into our meal plan, and I need to get that added on to my list, my freezer inventories. So, but it's just in here for now. All right, I am going to start chopping, and I'm go ahead usually and saute the onions and the mushrooms up in the pan first. I'll scoop them out, put them to the side so that I can use the same pan to cook the hamburgers in. Okay guys, this is Chris's plate. There is the hamburger patty with an egg cooked on top over easy, covered with mushrooms, onions, cheese, and bacon. This is some corn I pulled from the freezer that I had put up 2 summers ago. Eggs are from our chicken, and then that's the broccoli slaw I made on lunch. All right, hope you enjoy this meal. Okay guys, we are still working off of this ground beef. I am working on a meatloaf sandwich for Chris. This is how he prefers it, not me. But he likes white bread, and this is a really good thick slice of country white bread with slathered in Miracle Whip. I am not a Miracle Whip kind of girl. And with cold meatloaf, salted. So this is what he likes. So this is what I'm making for his lunch. There is still enough meatloaf to do probably 2 more sandwiches in there, or if someone just wants to warm some up, but I'm pretty sure that I'll be making him another one of these tomorrow, and probably the next day, because I'm not going to do it, and I doubt Jaden's going to come in and hit the leftovers. So he'd much rather just make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So I'm going to go ahead and finish making his lunch and get back to work. Hey guys, if you're curious what I sent him in his lunch, here's a sandwich, some dehydrated cinnamon apples I made, some ginger snaps, pretzels, carrots, peppers, ranch, and a water. Hey guys, I just got in from work. It is almost 7 o'clock, and I'm going to finish up using the last of the ground beef to make one more meal. Now, this meal is definitely going to be eaten at least 2 nights because this is a big chunk of beef that's left. So I'll probably make enough for us to have at least 2 nights, and I'll probably do a mini one for Trevlin to take to college. So I'll flip the camera around and show you what I'm making. Okay, I am going to make shepherd's pie, and I will link the video in the corner on how I make cauliflower pie. I'm not doing that tonight because I have all of these mashed potatoes left over to use as a topping. But I usually do cauliflower to make it low carb. I will just skip out on the topping for mine. So I'm out of my home canned green beans, so I have just frozen green beans here. I did pull, this is corn I put up 2 summers ago. And as a side dish, I'm going to serve some peaches that I put up last summer. And I sometimes use a brown gravy mix or something like that. This time I had some of this in the fridge, so better than bouillon. So I'm just going to make up a little thin gravy, season the meat with that. I think it just gives it a more rich flavor. And then I have some garlic, and I'm just going to grab some carrots. I noticed Chris didn't finish all of his carrots with lunch today, so I'm just going to chop these up small and add them into the shepherd's pie. Okay guys, as you can see, this really grew as I was getting everything mixed in. I ended up adding some bell peppers I had just for color. You'll see a little bit of red and yellow mixed in. Those are in here, and the carrots and all the veggies. I like using fresh vegetables. I also do a beef base. Ooh, my camera's getting all steamed. Some people use tomato. I've seen quite a few recipes online. My mom used to use tomato soup that had the veggies already in it. I don't know. I can't even remember if I've ever made it that way. I've just always made it with more of a beef base. I'll have to make it the other way sometime and see if the family likes it. But this is just what I do, and I like doing it in a cast iron skillet because I can take it and put it directly into the oven once I put the mashed potatoes on top and do not have to transfer containers, and I'm really only dirtying one pan to cook this way. So I'm going to finish getting this cooked down a little bit more of the liquid cooked out, and then get it topped. Okay guys, this is ready to go in the oven. It is 7:18. It's not taken me that long at all to put this together. Whenever I am going to open something like the corn that was in a big container or the great big thing of ground beef, I always just try and think of multiple meals I can make with it so that nothing goes to waste. So this little one will go to Trevlin at college. I'll wrap it up with aluminum foil and put it in the freezer just as it is. There's no need for me to warm that up anymore. I warmed the mashed potatoes just slightly to make them spread a little bit easier. I'm going to clean the edges up right here just so it will not burn, and go ahead and pop it in the oven. Okay, this is Chris's plate. I have the shepherd's pie with the peaches and salad. I just have to put a little bit of dressing on it. There is 2 kinds of lettuce, spinach, sweet peppers, tomatoes, cucumbers, carrots, pecans, and cranberries all in it. And then I'm going to put some blue cheese. He really likes blue cheese. So this is what we're having for dinner tonight.